Have you ever wondered what it would be like to go storm chasing? Maybe you've seen Twister once or twice and you have an idea of what chasing is like. Ultra geeks with their scientific gear, twirling doodads on the car, F5s dropping left and right, and even flying cows. Well, I'm here to tell you that chasing is nothing like that. Okay, maybe a few things are accurate. For the last 7 years, I've spent every May out in Tornado Alley, storm chasing with my dad and my twin sister. We aren't there to collect data, and we aren't there to get photos and videos to sell. We're there because of our pure admiration and love for weather and nature. After our first trip, we realized there's a lot more to storm chasing than just the weather. When I think of storm chasing, I don't even think of tornadoes. I think of camping, seeing wild animals like turtles, snakes, and porcupines, trying to find the best barbecue joint, exploring abandoned places, laughing at all the corny and sometimes creative church marquees, and of course, the amazing power of Mother Nature. Whether it's an impressive cloud structure, lightning, or if we're lucky, a tornado. In this 3-part series, I'm going to give you an idea of what a typical chase trip is like for us. I'll be covering the 3 main topics that our trips always center around, which is weather, food, and exploring. So here's your look into our chase trip. Landed on May 4th. Our trip always starts with a flight into Denver, and from the airport, we go straight to Walmart. It's our first day of chasing, and normally what we do is head straight to Walmart and get stocked up. But because the weather is already firing up, we only have time to grab a couple snacks. You'll be in your car for hours and hours every day, so it's important to stock up on all of your snacks for the car because your car will become your little home on wheels while you're out chasing. The day we landed, the weather was already firing up, so we went straight into chase mode. We chased for hours that day, and all we ended up seeing was some hail. That's the first thing you need to realize about chasing. Even when the forecast looks really promising, sometimes all you end up seeing is hail or even nothing at all. Yes, we did not have any time earlier today to really stock up. So this is when we go to town and buy all the goodies that we didn't pack with us, like toothpaste, body wash, anything fun. They have a double charbroiled burger right there with your name on it. $1.98. What a deal.
You could toast buns on the engine.
No, Dad, no. I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was check the SPC, which upgraded our area from enhanced to moderate right in the zone where we're staying. Right now, we're just looking at forecasts and stuff.
That's a dancing banana. So this is our SPC forecast.
This is our
the
SPC.
red area is we're smack in the middle of that moderate zone, so we're in the hot spot.
This is our typical day of chasing. We wake up either at a hotel or a campground. Brittany gets ready. We get our hotel cafe, and then Dad pulls up the models and stuff and picks a general area for us to at least get headed toward. Every night before we go to bed and every morning we check the different models on the computer. We have to consider everything from the Cape value to dry lines to temperatures and things like terrain and the road grid system when we're picking a target area for our chase. What's it looking like today, Pop?
2 areas, either right on the Red River, which is right out of the Panhandle, or as far east as Dallas, and not too excited about that, maybe even south.
There's a lot of factors you have to consider when you're picking an area, and sometimes there will be more than one area that looks like it would be good for chasing. You have to make a lot of judgment calls based on the information you have. Sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you don't. Because you'll be spending so much time in your car and driving so much, you're gonna have to refill your gas tank often, And you're gonna have to clean all those bug guts off your windscreen often. And don't forget to apply your Rain-X. It'll make all the rain just fly off your windshield. It's the best. Last year, we spent close to $900 on gas in just 2 weeks. The other good thing about gas stations is that they always have lots of coffee and iced tea machines. It's a perfect way to keep you going when you're spending hours driving and in the car. We always get excited when we find a new gas station we haven't tried yet. It's like a competition to see who has the best coffee or the best iced tea or the best cookies. Because you'll be drinking all these big drinks, you'll also have to go to the bathroom a lot. Be forewarned.
Oh wow, everywhere.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're taking over. Yeah, there's this guy I don't even know what is on his car, a bunch of PVC pipes or something. And then, this is for sure a chaser car. One of the fun things on a big chase day is when you run into other chasers. We call this a chaser convention when there's a lot of chasers in one area. You can usually tell their cars because you'll see GoPros mounted on the window, or they'll have all kinds of gear attached to the back of their car or the roof of their car. You'll also see NSF trucks as well as chasers from different universities trying to collect data. It's always fun to see the gadgets on the car and the big Dopplers on the back of the truck. We spent our first few years only taking video and photo with an iPhone, and let me tell you, it is definitely worth it to invest in a little bit of a nicer camera. Because the weather doesn't usually fire up until the late afternoon and sometimes even early evening, you spend a lot of your time just waiting around for the storms to develop. As the different models and radar update, you can start getting into position and fine-tuning your location more. But patience, patience, patience is the big key for chasing. A common mistake that we unfortunately still make sometimes is getting impatient and rushing off to an area that looks like it's maybe starting to fire up. We think, oh, we need to go, a cell's popping up, we need to go after this one. At the end of the day, we usually end up looping right back to where we started, and we could have avoided all that driving in the first place if we were just patient and waited. When you enter into chase mode, you really run through the gamut of emotions. Everything from anticipation and excitement to fear and stress. And if you see something, then you can feel pure elation for days. And if you miss something, then it can really leave you feeling flat and down. If you miss something because of factors that were out of your control, then it's a disappointment. But if you miss something because you made a bad judgment call, then it leaves you feeling really down and questioning your abilities, and you replay the day over and over in your head trying to figure out where you went wrong. Look, you know that weird red blob that you're like, look at it, there's a weird indent. You see that?
Well, where is it?
It's like
what is
right
that?
over us.
Right over us? What is that?
What is that?
Yeah, I think we need to get over there.
Nope, we're gonna drop west.
When are you mapping us to O'Donnell?
Yeah, to O'Donnell. It shows that we're in the clear because O'Donnell.
Okay, is that like, is that just an updraft or like some kind of?
That's all updraft.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting like nervous. Although, Dad, this is moving northeast, so if we go north,
I just want to.
like it's gonna be. I almost feel like we need to go down.
I don't know. I'm wondering if we should go to Tahoka and go west.
Here's what's happening. We're getting pinched. There's a little hook area. We're getting pinched, and as it's moving around us, we can either go north or what? What is this?
South to Tahoka and then west.
It's kind of an even call, but we got to get the hell out of here.
Now, if you had never chased before and you were sitting in the car with us, you'd probably think we were the most indecisive people in the world. Let's go north. No, we need to head south. Turn on this road right here. Because the weather is constantly changing, you have to continuously evaluate your current position and where you're heading based on what you're seeing in the sky and what radar is showing you.
We're changing course southwest back to Tahoka, and we're gonna go west at Tahoka to get a clearing.
Trying to get behind this damn thing. Thing is, it may be, blowing out, getting bigger.
Yeah.
Do you think it?
Maybe the cell you're chasing starts to expand and you have to backtrack a bit to avoid driving into hail. Or a new one pops up behind you and you're trapped in between two cells on a road with no exit strategy. Or the cell you're chasing starts to fizzle out, but there's a new one popping up to your west, so you head there instead. Chasing is a never-ending game of strategy. What's my next step based on what I'm seeing in the sky, what radar shows, what the road conditions are? Do I have the option to head any direction if I need to? What kind of visibility does the terrain offer? Is there a hail shelter nearby? The list goes on and on.
I'm like getting nervous here.
Just watch the radar, watch the skies.
An important thing you need to know about radar is that there is a lag, so you need to be able to read the visual signs in the sky above you. The radar is helpful for seeing bigger picture of what's going on around you, like if you might be driving into a cell, or maybe one is coming up behind you, or you're getting pinched in between two, but you can't solely rely on the radar. There's a lag of a few minutes and you're chasing in real time, so you need to understand what it is you're seeing in the sky at that very moment.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we need to head west. Go west.
Okay, so
If we head south, we're driving straight west. Look, there's a huge hook. Dad, we gotta get out of here. Huge hook that we're driving straight into.
all right.
What we're actually seeing now is the hook coming back around down to the southwest of Tahoka.
now if this was a
West of Tahoka, that's where we're going.
This is the severe river.
We have to get in that. We have to get south.
New development.
Being able to analyze the situation is very important. And of course, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the better you'll be able to make the judgment calls that you need to make. Before I explain our decision-making process, let me preface by saying safety is always our number one concern. We're not trying to be thrill-seeking adrenaline junkies getting as close to danger as we can. So our decision-making process always starts out with question number one: are we safe? Now, for this particular chase, we could either head north out of the most intense part of the storm, but it would cause us to drive through a lot of rain and hail with poor visibility for quite a while, or we could drive south for just 8 more miles through a more intense part of the storm with poor visibility also, but we would end up in a clearing at the back end of the storm, which is where we want to be, and at a junction with the ability to go north, south, east, or west. We decided to drop south and we continued on to the town of O'Donnell.
Because of how difficult it is to try to see
clear
what's actually happening with these storms. We have the tornado warning, which is roughly at the southern half of Lynn County. You're not going to be able to get a good advanced view of this tornado as it's moving in.
So there's a wedge tornado in O'Donnell, and they said the sirens are blasting in town. We're just... How is it that we were there 7 minutes ago not seeing anything? It's rain wrap, so we're like staring at it, but we can't see anything, which is kind of frustrating. Why does that always happen?
Seeing a tornado is actually quite rare. You have to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Sometimes you'll get there just a couple minutes too late, or you'll be in the right place but you can't see anything because there's hills or trees or rain and debris obscuring your visibility. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Keep talking about O'Donnell. We are in O'Donnell. We're right on the edge.
definitely some
Crazy out here. We've already had a couple tornadoes in this area and they said it could regroup, and yeah, how come we're not seeing them? The ideal chase conditions are daylight hours, clear visibility in the sky without much rain or hail, flat terrain with no trees, a good grid system for the road, away from the traffic and congestion of big city. But as the Rolling Stones say, you can't always get what you want. So you make do with what you have, you analyze the situation, and you use your best judgment to navigate the chase.
Chaser convention, and we're behind this guy, Storm Chaser. Wow, lots of chasers out here. You can see the insane outflow blowing across that.
Yeah,
this is insane.
The outflow from the storm that we're watching. This is what the sky has looked like over here the whole day. Like there was a wedge tornado and we couldn't see it because of this. This is what it looked like. It was just obscured by dust. It's just like picking up everything.
Storm chasing is addictive like gambling. You see something good and you come back for more, or you don't see something good and you still come back for more because there's always the possibility that today is the day you'll see something spectacular.
Gorgeous sunset. But we are continuing this way for one last hurrah for the day. We've got a little bit of daylight left, so we're going to try and catch something out here.
10 miles south of Mount Pleasant, or 20 miles north of Amarillo, on the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Over. Dropball signs hail at 60 miles per hour wind gusts.
Whenever we pass through town, we're always on the lookout for potential hail shelters. Maybe it's an awning attached to an abandoned building, or a gas station, or a self-wash car wash. Anything we can get the car under to protect it from hail damage will work. Even though you're just sitting in the car for hours, by the end of a chase day, you'll be exhausted from all the swings in your emotions and from remaining on high alert for hours as you continuously assess the situation. Your brain is working on overtime. The great reward at the end of the day is the light show, nature's fireworks. Whether it's a bright cloud to ground bolts, spider lightning crawling across the sky, or quick strobe light flashes in the clouds, there's always an amazing lightning show afterward. This is my absolute favorite part of storm chasing. When you witness just how massive these supercells are and how incredible the lightning is, and if you see a tornado, how amazing it is as it starts to come down from the cloud to the ground, you will be blown away. It makes all of the thousands of miles and dud days completely worth it. One of the other great things about chasing is getting to explore a part of America that most people just fly over. This is what I'll be covering in our next video, so be sure to watch that one and you'll get to see all the quirky roadside attractions we come across, abandoned places, and cool small historical towns. I hope this gives you an idea of what chasing is like. A lot of evaluating and decision making, long hours in the car, emotional highs and lows, and absolute awe at the beauty and power of nature. See you in the next video.